Thank you for this afternoon and for your participation in the 2 breakouts. I know sometimes if you haven't worked in this way before, or you're in a new context, it can take a little while to get settled, but something that I noticed, I don't know if you noticed it, but as we moved into the second breakout, people sort of dropped into the work really quickly and all the groups were buzzing. And so thank you for that. I appreciate it. You will have another opportunity to work in a similar way tomorrow. What we're going to do in the next, in our last section before we end today at 5, is we are going to, you had an opportunity to walk around and look at the data templates that you filled out in regional groups. Now we are going to hear very brief report outs of the funding models that you worked on in your mixed groups. I have up here on the slide the structure for the report out, so take a look. If you have not determined, I checked in with many of you verbally, but if you have not determined who's going to present in your group, this is a time to sort of make eye contact with people across the room, like you, me, you, like that. So this is the time to do that, okay? So what we have done is, thank you for bringing the templates back too. That was a big help in transitioning into this time. What we've done is we've layered them all on this board, and we have the ability to project an image of each template onto the screens as people present. It won't be flawless. You won't be able to see every single detail, but you will be able to see what people are referencing as they stand up here and present. Okay? And I'm going to read to you briefly the order of the presentations so you know where you are in the batting lineup. Okay? So we have Beavis first. If you don't know what I'm referring to, it's the middle name on your name tag. Beavis, then McGinnis, Battaglieri, Camilos, Hendricks, Bondi, Falor, Royal, and Tofinelli. Did I forget any breakout groups? Yes. Okay. So we will start momentarily with the Beavis group, whoever's reporting out for that group. So I'll ask that person to come stand up here. And we are going to do 3 minutes apiece. And if you could speak to these pieces, what are some of the underlying principles and values you considered? So that bottom section. Briefly, what is the process model? Not every detail, but pretty high level. And what else do you want the working group to know? Maybe you worked on a flip chart, maybe you didn't, but an opportunity to give voice to some of those aspects. Okay? So you have 3 minutes. What I will do is I'll time each person for about 2 minutes, 40 seconds, and then you'll hear a iPhone something ring, something, a soothing noise, and you'll know that's 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And then when you hear it again, you'll know that's 3 minutes. And then sort of, I know, I'm sorry to be so logistical about this, but taking the baseball metaphor another step further. So if you know you're next, so McGinnis is after Beavis, when you hear the first ring, ding, then McGinnis, you're on deck. So if you could start to move to the front of the room, and then we can cut down on the transition time. Okay? Does that make sense? Good. All right. So we are going to hear first from the group that was working in Beavis. Did you want the whole group up here? I don't think so, just because that's a lot of folks. So if you could just introduce yourself, your name, and all that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Reeve from Solano Community College, and I am representing the Beavis room. So in terms of underlying values and principles, we identified access, accountability, flexibility, equity, transparency, and then it was very important to us, no new bureaucracy. Funding should go to serve students, and there should be involvement from all stakeholders in forming the plan, including students. Then in terms of our model, this is really hard to see. Can I take this off of here?
I think you can. You have to take it out and then unwrap it.
Okay.
Can she do that? Take it out and then unwrap it? Maybe tilt it down. Yeah, then unwrap it.
Because it's not projected on there.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay. Okay, I'll try to get to where I can see our poster. So we kind of, in order of priorities, our group thought it was very important to make a funding commitment immediately and to have that appear in the January version of the budget. to fund full-time permanent professional instructors. And then we have several cards around having dedicated state funding for adult education. We believe it's important that that funding cannot be redirected into other K-12 or other community college functions, and also that there be dedicated facilities for adult education that cannot be usurped for other functions. Our group believed that we needed new or additional funding sources. We started to think of what those might be. We talked about developing partnerships with business for the purpose of businesses having input into education and also helping us develop training and employment opportunities as well as apprenticeship programs. And we talked about having tax breaks for businesses that would get involved in those kinds of enterprises. And we believe that we will probably need private funding through these business partnerships. We also talked about partnerships between existing programs that are already funded, such as EOPS, TRIO, and the Workforce Investment Boards, and using some of that funding maybe to support the development of pathways for students from adult schools.
So about 20 seconds left.
Okay. We thought funding might be based on regional data, the needs and gaps, and we thought the planning consortia should continue to be funded. We wanted, yes, funding to be outcomes-based rather than based on seat time. And we also wanted to see funding for whatever pilot programs are developed through the planning consortium. I think that that's complete, and we didn't do anything on the flip chart.
That's all right. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks, Melissa. Oh.
Hi, I'm Artis Nielsen, Dean Academic Affairs, Allen Hancock College. I'm representing the McGinnis Room. In addition to the black sweater, there's a blue water bottle up there in case you're looking for it, a really nice one. And we had a very lively group and quite a bit of information flowing. Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't look like ours.
It's the handheld mic, so you can walk over if you want.
Yeah. Anyone in my group, feel free to add in if I missed something. Okay, success factors. We felt obviously to be successful you need funding and clear objectives of funding model. We felt learning gains, outcomes needed to be measured along with certificates. Collaboration was very important, communication within the consortium. Our values included civil responsibility, which was interesting, transparency, equal access, to be student-centered, flexible, focused, and efficient. Our model, we had quite a bit of discussion here. There's no one simple model. We did not try to achieve consensus, but I would say that the main thing that we developed as far as consensus is the complexity of what needs to be considered in developing a funding model. So we wanted to have dedicated funding. Some people wanted to maintain two funding systems. Another person suggested consortium funding with also an independent organization like a third party to handle the funding, to disperse it. Student progress and data-driven was one of the factors that should be considered. Completions, employment, so looking at those various data points. MOE 231 federal grant, and that's in the adult ed world, so I don't know that much about that. Base funding was another idea proposed, and the base would be considered the demographic data for your region, and then also have funding based on increments, but for benchmarks or completions, milestones. Okay, sustainability, transition support services. Also, the faculty in there really wanted to have funding faculty, the part-timers, teachers, instructors, prep time, and office hours. And for tracking accountability, a common database system, seat hours, advisory, partnerships, certificates, incremental benchmarks, data employments, and partners community engagement. And then we came up with a lot of challenges, as I'm sure all of you did. Thank you.
Thank you. So next we have the folks who are working in Battaglieri. And also wanted to remind you that we will be taking photographs of all the charts that all the groups have created, all of Paula's beautiful work as well. So you will have all of that, and it'll be delivered to you electronically, probably put on the website as well. So you're free to take photos, but also know that don't feel like you need to capture everything because it will be coming to you. All right?
I think this is.
That's you. Thanks, Paula.
Well, we met in the room in the corner, and there you go. And we had all sorts of Post-its. So we talked about building a sustainable adult ed delivery system. And to go about that, we needed to build a funding stream that would incorporate AB86, K-12 adult, and non-credit community college. And that those funding streams needed to be identified and maintained in order for what we talked about in our first session to be accomplished. You can see down here we didn't get a lot of the circles filled in. We talked about better data systems, better data collection, focused on regional strength, support service funding, help students, dual enrollment, going back to articulation. What's the carrot for the adult to come to the community college? Again, when we talk adult, we're talking the 18 and older, coming from the K-12 adult. Try to get them in community college, whether they're from ESL, adult secondary ed, GED, or career preparation. Funding sources, avoid duplication of services. There was a little discussion about that, and I've heard that multiple times today. Keeping in mind that adult education, K-12, is community-oriented, so you might have duplication of services versus what the community college offers, and that's not really a bad thing, because if we hinge on duplication of services, we put a lot of us out of business. So duplication of services isn't a bad thing because we're addressing the needs of the community. And extension of maintenance of effort. Again, maintenance of efforts on the K-12 adult side, where districts are required to fund adult education to maintain those services from 12-13, 13-14, and this is the last year of it. So extend it, and we heard Buchanan today speak of that as well, to try to continue the work of what's going on around the room. Potential challenges, different pots of money, thank you. Funding models are complex, most definitely. Data, and essentially those are the elements, and I think it's important that as we build our collaboratives and our consortiums, that we're trying to speak common language in all the areas, so when it comes here to Deborah's group, it's got the same language. If we're all over the place, it again goes back to what is your mission and what are you doing. So that's about all we had. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Camilos is next. Folks working in Camilos.
since you can't see it anyway, I can kind of tell you anything I want. I'm trying to see what I can remember. I think we kind of mushed together the success factors and the values. I think it was very important for us to focus on the needs of students. Our group talked a lot about the need for any funding model to be regionally responsive, so that it's not just one thing for everybody, but that there's some way that you can tweak it regionally to respond to what you think is most important where you are. Let's see, we also think that success should be defined regionally as well. When we looked at the model, some of the things that we felt needed to be in place at the very beginning, number one, several people have mentioned that we need to have a very good data system so that we can actually track students and follow them, and so that if we're going to do outcomes as a part of the funding model, you actually have something that you can watch, because they're transitioning between, in most places, two systems, between an adult school K-12 system and a community college system. We also felt that it was really important to establish a baseline funding. So you start somewhere. You don't just create everything has to be based on whatever you decide to do, that there's going to be a certain amount that you're going to get from the get-go. We agree with everybody else, dedicated funding. And then as we moved along, we didn't really discuss whether or not outcomes would be a part of it, but clearly we came up with 9 of them, so I guess we have ideas for how you might want to integrate outcomes into that. We also talked about how the model is going to actually fund adult education and non-credit moving forward, and we talked about possibly using, for example, positive attendance, which used to be what we did before, but how you're going to do your basic funding and then layer on top of that things such as outcomes. I'm done.
Thank you.
Mark Liu, Loney College.
Thank you. So the next group is folks working in Hendricks. So Hendricks is the next one.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, I guess it is good afternoon. I'm Scott Finn. I'm a counselor at Southwestern College. And our Hendricks group, we had a very lively discussion. Not everything was recorded, but most of the great things that we talked about were recorded. Our values and principles definitely dealt around success and offering a student-centered approach to all our values and outcomes. We looked at happiness as being the most important thing with our values and principles, mostly the students. Hoping that whatever we do, there's stability so that we don't have to keep starting over once we've accomplished something great. Our model as far as building, we really did a good job because we didn't use Post-its. We had to kind of really discuss it and then try to put it in writing, and my eyes can actually see it from here, so that's good. For building our model, we definitely wanted to have a shared definition of success and use that to drive the funding. The funding needs to be ongoing collaboration between all agencies and relevant stakeholders. Whoops. Dedicated funding, no loopholes, so we want to be able to commit to something for the long term. Fund data tracking across all segments. We definitely discussed including student services, and as a counselor, I give that 2 thumbs up, definitely. Buy-in with all the leadership, those at the top. We want them involved, but we want them to listen as well. We want it equitable for, different needs. Example would be basic funding. Equity between open programs versus restored programs. So startup funding would be something that we had to be able to provide, and a combination of guaranteed base funding and per pupil for smaller districts, because we didn't want to penalize smaller programs. Let's see, develop solutions to promote appropriate dual enrollment. That was something that we talked about a lot, and there's a lot of different definitions of dual enrollment. College bound is something we have, and so that really needs to be addressed, I think, more deeply. And then funding to provide sustainability all the way through. Our group really did well. And as far as tracking, we really, is that 20 seconds? Okay. Employment and promotion, we're looking at outcomes. Course and program completion, the number of students served, high school certificates and diplomas, wage gain, that's something we can measure, as well as having smooth transitions and common assessments so that students can maybe go within districts. So I think we covered it. We ran out of room for potential challenges because I think we covered it. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. So next we have Bondi, the folks who are working in Bondi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tom Lawson. I'm the ESL Program Specialist for Salinas Adult School and part of the Hartnell Consortium focusing on the Salinas Valley. And one of our challenges is to extend educational opportunities to the rural areas of the valley, which are greatly underserved at this time. So we have a unique challenge ahead of us. Our group, when we met, there are a lot of commonalities that we have that I have heard the presenters from the other group mention to you. And one of the things that I just want to point out, in terms of the success factors, the funding needs to be dedicated. I think all of us are in agreement on that. We also, you can see this box around performance-based funding. People in the group are very nervous about that, because not that performance-based funding is bad, but it can't be everything, because there are areas of performance that we can control and we can direct, and there are other things that are beyond our control. So we want a good mix of funding sources to be able to run an adequate program. The members of the group suggested base funding, also a differential for CTE funding because of the higher cost of operation of these programs, and very important, funding for support services, because one of our keys to student success is the ability of the student to access the support services that they need to deal with problems that prevent them from articulating through our program. And we need to define our programs well between the adult education and community college portion of the consortiums. That does not mean that we would not have the same type of program in both. Not all duplication is bad, as I found out. And I learned a lot about that today, that there are things that both can offer, but we still need to look at running the most efficient service model that we can. In terms of building the model, and we had such a lively discussion, I didn't have time to consolidate anything into nice, neat writing. But just in terms of building the model, again, as we've said, dedicated funding, base funding, which can be per student or per hour of instruction. Also, a standardized educational plan. As we move along here, develop measurements of success. And this concentration funding, we have different funding elements as we've discussed, so we need to work on a viable plan there. And we had a lot of suggestions for tracking accountability. Everyone up here has mentioned that, sharing data between systems. There's a lot of data that we have, but we just can't access it. And that is very important. And our values and principles, again, based on the student, knowing student needs, and also recognizing not only the needs but also the roles that both of our systems can play in this dual enrollment process. Thank you.
Thank you. So next, the group who was working in Falor. Falor's next. No one from Falor? Can we have someone present for that group, please? Yeah? Thank you. And just so you know what's coming after Falor, we have Royal and Tofinelli, and those are our last two, okay? Thank you very much. Please share your name also.
I'm Jack Carroll. I'm the CTE chair from Watsonville Aptos Adult Ed. We found many similar things that the other groups have already spoken about. When we got to the actual funding model, we definitely had some challenges trying to decide between a consortium-funded system and a dual-funded system. I don't believe that we reached a consensus on that, but my sense was that we were leaning towards a dual funding system that would result in the minimum amount of disruption, the least likeliness of another bureaucracy that would drain some of the funds. So that was our conclusion at that point. We had the similar values that the other groups had, equity, transparency, flexibility to represent or to deal with the uniqueness of the individual community. And let's see, and a unified commitment towards our programs and our funding. I could translate that as dedicated funding. I think that's it. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay, so next we have Royal is the next one, and after that Tofinelli, and then we'll have an opportunity to hear from folks around some larger insights or themes or patterns that you notice throughout this and also throughout the day. Thank you. You could share your name also, that'd be great.
I'm Dr. Marlon Hall. I'm the superintendent president at Lassen Community College in Susanville, California, in the great far north. And I represent the Lassen County Consortia. Now, before I begin, I will tell you all this. I will maintain the 5 B's, and the 5 B's mean be brief, brother, be brief. Okay, first of all, our principles and values. Number one, we talked about that student-centered approach is very important. Also, open access is very important to developing a statewide funding model. But also, which we talked about quite a bit in our group was very passionate and intense. And as you see from our chart here, we were very brief also. Collaboration across the organizations and ongoing. That means the K-12, the adult school, the community college, the WIB, the social services, the private businesses. We all need to have collaboration across the organizations. Transparency is very important. Flexibility and accountability. Now, as far as our funding model, basically, we said our funding should address all the levels, the community college, K-12, adult school, and the privates. We also, one very important key to building a model is we should consider the needs of the region. In our far north, our needs are different than the needs of the Southern California, San Diego area, or even the Central Valley. Also, funding for programs should be for educational providers, adult educational providers, plus funding for consortium collaboration and coordination of services. And also, we stated that collaboration will avoid duplication of efforts. And then one other thing, because we had a lot of adult school people in our group, designated funding for LEA adult schools. Now, as far as our access and accountability, number one, success rates, whether they achieved a diploma, certification, or GED, or moved on to the next level. That should be a part of access and accountability, and leverage with the WIBs and the data tracking tools. And finally, assessment of success based on what the students' goals are, or in community colleges, we say are their education plans. And then finally, addressing labor market needs, which is very important. And the challenges we talked about were indirect costs, high-cost programs, adult schools that have closed their doors and no longer open, geographic area issues, like in the far north, we have a huge geographic issues. And basically, we just feel that our model should be one that considers the needs of all regions. And I'm done, and as I said, I was brief. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And last, the group that was in Tofinelli. Hi, if you could share your name, that'd be great.
I'm Steve Judici, proud co-chair of the Southern Alameda County Consortium. You've heard almost all of this before. Some highlights I think I'd like to point out are values. Some other ideas that came to the forefront, supporting innovation in instructional models, new ways to serve our students better and collaboratively. Of course, equity, so we're serving all student needs. We've heard transparency. We thought it was very important that we provide good access for all of our students. When we looked at the model itself, we actually started looking at accountability before that, and assessments came to the forefront, and some issues with assessments and preparation that exist now when students transition from adult school to the community college. And the idea that if we're going to make assessment part of a funding formula in terms of the measurable outcomes, we had to have a real good data system that would help us track both the incremental outcomes and then those larger transitions that occur. So what about our model? I think a couple of things that stand out. We all acknowledged it had to be a formula with many factors in it. And I think the one thing that I would emphasize and say is a key for us, or something that was very important, was there has to be some kind of gap funding. I jokingly referred to it as the Phoenix Fund. Maybe we could call it the Oakland Fund. But you know, there are some districts where adult ed, that on-ramp for the community colleges, has been devastated. And so when you put a funding formula into place, there has to be something there to help build those programs that are almost gone. I thought that would get a clap. Anyway. Okay. Thank you. I know, a tough audience. Okay, well, that's otherwise our success factors. This funding does have to support the ongoing collaborative efforts that we're all involved in right now, and it's got to remain a dual funding model. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And round of applause for all of you and for all the groups. Thank you. So we are going to end at 5 o'clock today. In the last 15 minutes, what I would like to invite you all to do is to consider this question that's up on the screen right now. What themes and patterns did you hear throughout the day? And I'll give you some time to talk at your tables with your neighbors around these two questions, and then we'll have an opportunity to hear from some folks before we break for the evening. So what themes and patterns did you hear throughout the day, and what else would you like to note as we close day one? Anything that you would like to give voice to with all of us here, okay? So a few minutes at your tables to discuss these two themes and patterns, certainly from this presentation, but maybe throughout the day or in the conversations you had with folks. And what else would you like to note? And similar to the panel, we will have people running microphones. So a few minutes to discuss those questions. We'll come back. So what we're going to do now, if we could close, please, and then we will hear from folks. So what we're going to do is give you an opportunity to hear from each other before we close for the day. And there are folks that have microphones. If you could raise your hand if you have a handheld mic. Okay. So if you would like to offer something, any theme or pattern you heard throughout the day, anything else you want to note as we close day one, Paula is going to be recording the group insights. And because I'm reflecting on the legislative panel we heard this morning and the message that I heard around these folks in the room being experts. So what I'd like to do is just encourage you to speak to each other. I'm not going to stand here and speak after the comments, so the airtime can be yours. So if you want to speak, just raise your hand and we'll run the mics around, and I will just jump back up here and let you know when we're about to close, okay? And if there's silence, we'll sit in silence for a little bit until someone's moved to speak, so that's okay.
A major theme seems to be dual-funded systems with dedicated funding that can't be utilized for anything except adult education, and that is implemented immediately. So there's a guarantee of funding right now.
Thank you. I would ask, as people speak, if you don't mind, if you'd like, could stand up so folks can see you, and if you could give your name also, that would be appreciated.
Regional needs and regional solutions. My name is Mary Gutierrez.
Mary Katza, Azusa, and Citrus Regional. Common themes that we heard were support services, funding for support services, and incremental benchmark funding, not just endpoint funding.
I think another common issue that we heard today was better definitions coming down when it comes to adult education. What does adult education mean in California, regardless of what institution is offering it, K-12 or a non-credit program? Where is it adult education and where is it a credit basic skills program? And also adults with disabilities. Mia Reese from Cuesta College.
I'm Frances from Sonoma County, and we came up with the need to have accurate data. If we're going to make strategies and come up with decisions, we need to know, we need to have a database that's really accurate based on our particular students.
I'm Millie from College of Sequoias, and one thing that to support the common data was the need for a common identification number for students that went through all systems.
A common theme was access for all students who need it, and also multiple measures of whatever we end up defining as success. Patricia Brown.
I've heard the theme that we should ask for ongoing funding for this planning process. Anne-Marie Wasserbauer, San Jose, Evergreen, West Valley, Mission, Consortia.
Can I see a hand?
Lori Morton, State Center. I think that we need to continue to focus on students being the center of our decision making. As somebody said earlier in one of the groups that we need to leave our institutional or our organizational hats at the door and really plan and decide based on our students.
These are all great ideas, but our main concern is that to implement them correctly, we need more time. And even our speakers this morning even said, don't be afraid to ask for more time. Oh, Albert from Coachella Valley Unified.
Michael Ward, Lake Tahoe. One thing that stood out for me all day long was the need to retain these consortia beyond this first round of planning and assessment, because we've produced a collaborative vehicle for getting our stuff together.
I couldn't stay away. This is driving me nuts. Equitable pay for teachers and instructors at all the institutions. Right now it's a big stumbling block to some faculty even considering coming here because they don't want to be turned from credit to non-credit. So that whole idea of what they don't want to participate in something like this because they're afraid of losing pay or becoming paid at this non-credit level, that's a serious problem. So pay equity.
Hi, Susie Pasegi from Castro Valley Adult Education. What stood out to me is that we really were talking about 5 tiers. So if we think of a 5-tiered funding system, base plus performance-based plus differential for career tech ed, students with disabilities, and even students who have additional barriers, such as our reentry folks, plus, so that was base plus performance, plus differential, plus services, additional services and supports and strategies, plus consortium work. So if we had all 5, I think we'd be in good shape.
Julie Carson representing CFT, real meaningful teacher inclusion at the table where decisions are being made.
I'm Laura Donna Carson from the Ventura Consortium. And one thing I've heard today is the need to think out of the box and possibly also have funding for innovation, for bridge programs, for hybrid programs. It's really hard to start a new program when you have no funding and when you don't know if any little bits of money you get in grant is going to continue. So I think that's a really important thing I've heard today that I would like to see carried through.
Hi, Dave Wall, Los Medanos College. We heard an awful lot about systems alignment and really to see some of the best practices that are coming out of other initiatives like Career Pathways Trust and SB 1070 and even the 1440 legislation that moved community college students up into the CSUs in a more seamless manner.
So I think we have time for one more.
Very
gets, again, one topic that needs to be put on the table, and it really pertains to adult ed. I don't know if it pertains to community college, but in order for any organization in the state to get federal monies, there's a maintenance of effort required. If that maintenance of effort is not on the table or part of AB 86, then there's a lot of federal dollars that are going to go away.
Thank you very much. And know that you can also continue your conversations. If you're sitting on a comment, you can also feel free to share it with someone at the reception. We are going to close for the day. I want to share a few logistical pieces with you before we close officially. So you're all invited to a reception, which is outside in the foyer. The working group will be present. The cabinet will be there. Also, we are starting tomorrow in this space at 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock in this space, 9 to 3 is our day tomorrow. Okay. So I just also want to thank you for your time, for your attention, for your hard work, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks very much.